What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to another edition of Underground Sports Philadelphia, another one-off topic edition of the pod. We've got a fun one on deck for you, but it is episode number 668 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the city of Vineland. It's your boy KB coming at you solo dolo. I got a fun topic on deck for you guys as we inch closer and closer to catching up and being back on track for the Eagles season and the Phillies postseason. But before we get into all of it, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. Underground Sports Philadelphia, just search it in the search bar of your social media app of choice. You can follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311 and KBI ZZLE11 on Instagram and Threads. I don't know why, but my chair has started to just voluntarily sink on itself, so that's not been fun. Need a new chair because these chairs have kind of gone to junk. But follow me on the socials. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It goes a long way for helping this show continue to grow, helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia, and lets us do more dope stuff with and for you guys that we have a lot planned and I'm very excited about. And I want to be able to do it with the best damn fans on the internet. So keep subscribing on Apple and Spotify, and of course subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. We want to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I think it's 100% doable. Let's make it happen. youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia, because when we get to that 1K mark, a lot of special stuff's going to happen, and I'm very excited about it. So keep on subscribing. And this show is proudly presented by the City of Vineland, my awesome hometown. And the City of Vineland Municipal Calendar features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. The calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the City of Vineland on social media via their Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube pages. And through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city of Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hopefully one of the final, if not the final, one-off topic episodes, and we get back to what this show is really at its core, and that's talking Philly sports up to the second with the people. Twice a week, every week. I really appreciate everyone standing by with me and in this catch-up phase of getting back on track where we were doing daily Olympics content along with me traveling and a whole bunch of other stuff just going on in life with friends getting married and traveling for that and the whole 9 yards. It's been a wild and hectic year. But I appreciate everybody sticking with your boy as I get caught up here doing the show by myself. It's a lot of adjustment period, but we're figuring it out as we go. But this topic came to me, and I think it's something that a lot of people will agree on. Having been to Citizens Bank Park, having been to multiple stadiums, Major League Baseball-wise, been to a couple NFL stadiums, obviously been to the Wells Fargo Center for Sixers and Flyers games and Wings games. Here's my fun topic, and, it ties into the City of Vineland being my hometown and your hometown team providing something that is a unique experience, and I think something we can all agree on is we all love food. And I think every stadium for every team, and I know it's more prolific in baseball than any other sport, but every stadium and every team needs a long-lasting signature dish at their stadium. I think that is the number one thing that should be on every sports team's mind, whether you're in college, sports, pro sports, whatever it may be. You need a signature dish. Having a signature food item is one of the keys to my experience at your stadium. If I know you have something that is truly specific and I can only get at your stadium, I am going to try it 99.9% of the time. It is going to happen. Citizens Bank Park, you got Bull's Barbecue, you got the Schwarberger, you've got so many unique items across the board, and obviously you've got like local Philadelphia staples of crab fries, and now they've entered, Manco and Manco. There's different staples of local delicacies, but I view Bull's Barbecue as a must-have at Citizens Bank Park anytime you're there. It is genuinely one of the best places to eat in Philly, in my opinion. For like that, for Philadelphia barbecue, it's unbelievable. And I've been to other stadiums, and I think, the Arizona Diamondbacks have the churro dog, and I think that is one of the coolest things. And when I went to Arizona, it's my biggest regret that I didn't get the churro dog. I will be back to get that churro dog, Arizona, I promise. But I think being a team, you need to have something unique that really encapsulates your city, encapsulates your team and your fans to want that experience, and then also draws in your visitors and people that aren't going to your stadium day in and day out to say, oh, I got to try this. I got to have this. And I'm not even talking about the over-the-top, crazy unique things that pop up one year and then they're gone the next. I am talking about something that is a staple of your stadium, that is an anchor that stays there for years and decades and decades and decades and becomes a must-have at your sporting event. I think every team needs that, and genuinely, it would elevate the stadium-going experience for me, going to a game knowing I'm going to have the opportunity to try something that I'm only going to get at this stadium. I'm only going to get in the 2 to 4 hours that I'm at this stadium. This is the only time I can get it, so I'm going to do it. And I don't need it to be something that's from outside of I'm not talking something from outside the stadium. The Phillies have PJ Willihan's No Free Ads in the stadium, and they do a sauce of the month or whatever that's exclusive to the stadium. I think that's cool, but that's not going to draw me in per se. I need something that is unique that I can't get anywhere else outside of the stadium. I can go to a PJ Willihan's anytime I want and still get a satisfying meal and be fine. What I need is a Bull's Barbecue. What I need is a Boog's Barbecue that's in Baltimore. What I need is a churro dog that's in Arizona. I need something that's going to pull me in and say, this is the go-to item. This is the must-have, that type of thing that needs to be here. Maybe we start a website that tracks everything, or a spreadsheet or something, unless it's already out there, which I'm sure it is. But we need something to really hone in for and I'm not just talking baseball. We need this at football games. We need this at hockey, basketball, lacrosse, WNBA, Pro Women's Hockey League. We need it every sport, men, women, whatever. We need signature food items. We need the creative teams. We need a creatives food team to come in. Everyone needs their own mythical chef Josh from Good Mythical Morning up in this, conjuring up just the perfect signature item to have at a sporting event for that specific sport and for that specific team. That needs to be a job. I'm genuine about this. I think the food going experience at a sporting event can really swing the way you're feeling at a game in so many different directions of the pendulum. You're either going to have an elevated experience because of the food you had, or your experience could be a little down and dampered because the food wasn't ideal. And I think that is something we don't necessarily take into account, because sometimes we eat before we go to a stadium. Sometimes we wait and we eat after, whatever it may be. But we need, like, that's what's going to draw people in that much more to go to a game in person, because they're going to know, I can only get this food item at this stadium, at this arena, this time of the year, whatever season it is, and is between these hours. You know, it is hyper exclusive. And imagine if it's at a football stadium. You're only going to get 8 to 9 chances a year to have that item. Like, it's crazy to think about, but like, that is going to drive people, especially like foodie people that are also fans of the sport or fans of the team, to want to go to a game in person. Like, it's a concept that I was thinking about this earlier this week, and I'm just like, why is that not a thing with every team? It is very baseball to have that, but the fact that that's not a thought process for every sport, every team, every arena to say, hey, we need that signature item that needs to stay on our menu, stay in our stadium forever. Like, think about that. Like, that would just be electric. Like, I gotta think. What would be the perfect things for the Philadelphia sports teams? What would be the perfect food items for... I'm going to not put the Phillies in because they have Bull's Barbecue. They have the Schwarberger. Like, they do it well. For the Eagles, the Sixers, the Flyers, the Union, the Wings, and the Water Dogs. I mean, the Water Dogs off the rip would be like, it would be fun to have like a signature ice cream when the Water Dogs eventually have their own stadium and call it the Pup Cup. Like, that's the one. The Pup Cup for the Water Dogs is the one. And having a signature ice cream flavor, toppings, whatever it may be, the Philadelphia Water Dogs need to have something called the Pup Cup. Mike and Paul Rabel, how you doing? I love and appreciate you guys. Let's make that happen at Water Dogs weekend next year. That would be fantastic. Fantastic across the board. I need that to happen expeditiously. The Philadelphia Eagles would be... Man, the Eagles, like, I feel like something with, like, gridiron or something is going to be in there, because that is a typical football adjective. Let's see. Or you do something pertaining to Super Bowl 52, because it's just an iconic franchise moment. But I don't know if it's past its timeline for it per se. There's something there with that. I'll come back to the Eagles. The Flyers, there's got to be something like Slapshot, or like, the Flyers would be the Bully Burger. The Flyers is the Bully Burger. The Broad Street Bullies, the Bully Burger. What you put on the Bully Burger, I think, is up to the creator of the item. I think you can make it spicy, you can make it whatever it may be, barbecue. There's a whole lot of things you can do with the Bully Burger. The Sixers. Could do something like the swish. What's a basketball food item though? Basketball's tough. Something with like tenders or nugget or something you have to dunk. You could have like a flight of sauces, signature sauces with chicken tenders or nuggets or something like that, and it's something like the dunk, like take flight dunk or something like that. There's something there, like a signature sauces flight, and then you get like your form of transportation to get that. You know what I mean? And then the Union and the Wings. You know what? I'll think of the Union and the Wings. We're going to take a quick break for a word from the city of Vineland. But on the other side of the commercial, we will figure out the Wings and the Union. And then I'll ask the people. But don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
I'm Mayor Anthony Finucci. If you're looking for the right location, think Vineland, New Jersey. Our pro-business approach is supported by financial incentives, workforce development programs, and other resources which can give your business a competitive edge. Whether you're starting a new business or expanding to new markets, our business environment, infrastructure, accessibility, and quality of life make Vineland an ideal location. More information about how we can help your business grow can be found at vinelandcity.org. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
All right, big thank you to the city of Vineland, the presenting sponsor of Underground Sports Philadelphia. The Union, it's got to be something with dupe, you know, like, and I don't even know because the Union are the one team that I have not been to a game yet in my life, which is crazy because I've covered 4 championship games or it will be 4, I should say, 4 championship games at Subaru Park for the Premier Lacrosse League, but I haven't been to a Union game, so I don't know. So let me know in the YouTube comment section or Apple Podcasts reviews if there is a signature food item at a Union game. And then the Wings, you got to do something with wings. They got to have some sort of signature chicken wing or something like that. I just think signature food items just it elevates the in-person experience so much. We all love food. We all love our teams when we go to watch them in person, and it just makes that game-going experience that much better and just such a unique experience to look forward to. Like this season in particular, when my mom and I have gone to games for the Phillies, we have approached it differently than we have in years past, where we're like, all right, where do we want to try food at today? What do we want to eat at the stadium today? And we've gone around the stadium and eaten at so many different places, and it gives you a good idea of like what there is to offer at a game for game day experience. So I think the food element to sporting events is so important, and it just elevates what you're able to do. And enjoying your experience at a game, and it just like it makes you want to go back again and try it again or try something new. And I think it like I said, it brings in the outside fan and the outsider approach as well, where like if you know you're going to a game in a different city that you're not traditionally in, or you're on a vacation and you just happen to be lined up when a sporting event's happening, you have the opportunity to try something that you're not going to try every single day. And I think that's such a cool part about sporting events and sports in general, is it offers such a unique experience to just your game day itinerary, and it makes for an elevated event for yourself where you're having a meal, you're enjoying entertainment and taking in a spectacle that is a live sporting event. And I think if more teams / arenas and stadiums bought into that philosophy, which I think baseball does a really good job of. I just wish more of the items would stay on the menus longer, because baseball feels like they're trying to reinvent things over and over and over again. That I think if you had a long-lasting staple food item, it works and it plays and it makes people want to try it. It's like, okay, I experienced that. Do I need to experience it again? Am I never going to have to experience it again? Or somewhere in between, you know? And I think food is just a language that has no barrier, and it speaks to you in ways that it gets a message across without using words. And I think that's the beauty in food, the beauty in sport, is that you don't need to use your words to communicate what is going on. And I love that deep meaning behind sport and competition, and I love that deep meaning behind food. And I think that's why a show like Chopped is so gravitating for so many people, because it brings competition and food, brings them together. A show like Beat Bobby Flay, food, competition, boom. Iron Chef, all those type of shows on Food Network that are competition and food based are so popular because it brings together two things that there is no language barrier for. Competition is competition. You're going to have that in almost anything. And food, it breaks down barriers. It's sharing a culture and a language, and you don't even have to be fluent in it. And I think that's beautiful about food, and what I would love to see more from in sport and seeing it at sporting events. And I think that's what makes tailgating so unique as well, to have different people from different walks of life come in. And shout out to my guy Dylan from M-Lot, the M-Lot chef himself. Like, to be able to bring so many different walks of life together to experience food and experience energy and vibes, while all coming together for a common cause, and in that case, it's the Philadelphia Eagles winning on game day. It's the coolest thing ever, and I think food really does a wonderful job of bridging the gap between people and letting people set aside differences and enjoy one another's company and just really capture the moment that you're in. And I would love to see stadiums and teams and everything kind of conjure up something that can be long lasting in their venue to bring to the people. You know, it's not the most popular thing, but the Dodger Dog and the Fenway Frank have lasted the test of time. And when you have something in Arizona like the Churro Dog, that is a staple item, in my opinion, at the Arizona Diamondbacks Stadium. When you have something like Bulls and Boogs Barbecue in Baltimore and Philadelphia, that is a staple menu item. I think it really hones in on what you can do to elevate your in-person experience and get more people into the stadiums. You know, I think when you see low attendance numbers, those teams need things that can draw in a common fan that wouldn't traditionally go to a Wednesday night game in the middle of July or August, but because a team may not be doing well, hey, let's go to the ballpark and let's go get food there. You know, an NFL game, you're adding to what the price of admission already is by saying, hey, we have this food item here. You can only get it at our stadium, home games. It's the perfect thing to do. So I really think it is a perfect recipe for sports business and everything, for everyone across the board to kind of come together and say, hey, let's make this happen. How can we elevate the in-person stadium going experience? Let's add a food item or items or a restaurant that is exclusive to our stadium. You can't get it on the outside of these stadium walls, and make it so it's an attraction. Make it so it's a must-have. And it's obviously got to be something that's delicious. It's so doable, in my opinion. And I would love to see hockey, basketball, and football adopt kind of the approach that baseball has in that sense. And I know there's less games for those sports than there is in baseball, but there's a way to do it properly, and I think every team should have that approach, and it would be successful, in my opinion, across the board. And you make it so unique, and then you have, like the old school, like, maps that you would put the quarters in. You can have that for every sporting event. Like, there's so much you can do. There's a coffee table book already prepared that goes through and has it, so then you can attempt to make the food item at home as well if you're yearning for it. But it's never going to be what it is at the restaurant. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much that can come from it, and it's just an idea I had, and I probably just sold off like the greatest idea ever for sporting events and food. But hey, that's what I'm here for the people. So let me know your favorite food item at a sporting event that is exclusive to that stadium, to that team, whatever it may be. I would love to see what they are, because my number one bucket list item is to go see a game at every baseball stadium. I want to know what those items are that are like the must-haves at every baseball stadium. Let me know if there's one at your favorite football team stadium, favorite hockey team, basketball, soccer, lacrosse, all that good stuff. I want to know. I want to know all the signature food items at every professional stadium on the planet. So yeah, let me know that in the YouTube comment section. Let me know it in the Apple Podcast reviews. Like I mentioned on the last episode, we are onboarding. The form to apply to Underground Sports Philadelphia is linked in the description of this episode. It will be linked for the foreseeable future. We're trying to get as many applicants in as possible, so fill out that application. If you know somebody as well who fits the bill, tell them to apply, because it would be awesome to have you join our team. Make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, all that good stuff. Follow me at KBIZZL311 on Twitter and KBIZZLE11 on Instagram and Threads. Subscribe to the pod, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. It goes a long way for helping the show continue to grow. Helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia. Subscribe to Underground Sports Philadelphia's YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week. We're working on getting back on schedule, I promise. Full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It's all on our YouTube channel. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers. Hit the subscribe button, click the bell icon, leave a comment down below. And of course, guys, this show is presented by the City of Vineland, and whether you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's economic development department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process, and their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you're considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. This has been episode number 668 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Appreciate you all bearing with me as we catch up on episodes to get this show back on track to where it needs to be. I'm your boy KB. Until the next one, I'm getting the heck up out of here and I'm signing off. Peace.